just want to say I have not been paying attention to the DNC whatsoever because, honestly, be serious. But I have been paying attention to certain people's social media who are there, and they are people that I've been following for a while who have been talking about what's been going on with the PALs, as well as just in general when it comes to our government and social justice and all of those types of things. And from what I am seeing, while yeah, it's cool that some of the uncommitted people were able to have conversations with some of the Democrats, that's cool and everything, and that's great. What I saw last night was that none of the PALs or people from the uncommitted were able to speak on the main stage. And to me, that shows you everything you need to know. Also, I saw a video, which I have actually on my page, so you can go check it out, of Democrats. There were protests going on outside of the DNC, and a lot of them were for the PALs. And the PALs were doing their demonstrations and their protests for their people, like they've been doing for the last 10 months. And so they came and they tried to have conversations with some of the Democrat delegates. And while some were able to get through, a lot of them weren't. And the fact that they weren't being able to be on the main stage is sick. Also, the hecklers, the Democrats who came out of the DNC, who were walking past the protesters, who were calling out the names and the ages of those in PAL who are dead or dying because of our government. Yeah, okay. And they were heckling them, and they were making fun of them, and they were having their hands over their ears so they couldn't have to hear them. It was just this most disgusting display of ick, right? And so I know everybody's like, she's the one. She's the one, she's the one, she's the one. And all of this critique and all of these protests and all of this whatever, it's just not helpful, and it's not doing anything to help anybody, and nobody's going to be helped by that, and you just leave her alone, let her get into office, it's better than Trump, all of these things. Once she gets into office, once she gets into office, once she gets into office. It's all we keep hearing. Once she gets into office, then we can fix all of these things. And I just don't believe that. I don't. This has nothing to do with who you should vote for. This has nothing to do with critiquing, her as a black woman. But it is critiquing her policy. It is critiquing how she handles things right now. Because what matters right now, because right now, there are those in PAL who are dying every second of every day. And the more that die every second of every day, the more of their population is wiped out. So the more we wait, the more they're going to be wiped out. I am black and I am indigenous, and I talk about this all the time. And because I am black and indigenous, I maybe have a better way of thinking about this than most of you, okay? And my fellow indigenous people from, Turtle Island, they have a different way of looking at this than the rest of you. Because our ancestors went through exactly what the people in PAL are going through right now. And it's sick and it's sad because there was nobody there to help us back then. And so right now what you're seeing of the population of indigenous people on Turtle Island, on the lands that we're on right now, isn't even a fraction, and I'm talking a fraction of the indigenous people who were here pre-colonization. And so we are seeing a pattern as indigenous people of what they did to us back then and continue to do to us today. We're seeing exactly that over there. And so maybe we care a little bit more because we're seeing things repeat itself every second of every day. And we understand that the longer that this takes, the more people are going to be wiped out. And then one day, it's going to be so ridiculous to the point where there's not going to be half of the population that there is today. And so I'm just seeing the same pattern when it comes to PAL, and it's bothering me a lot. It bothers me when I think about it because I see the pattern. I see the pattern that the rest of you are not seeing. And maybe you don't care. That's fine. You don't have to care, okay? But it's going to really hurt when in 20 years they're going to try to do exactly what they do to the indigenous people on these lands, on Turtle Island. It's so disgusting. And so when I watch these things, I watch the exact same thing that we did back in, the day, and we still continue to do, and fight for our indigenous rights here. And so I'm seeing the same thing happening, and it's all because of our government, and it's all because of our colonizers, and it just makes me sick. It makes me so sick. And so seeing that the DNC is not willing to let a Palestinian get on stage and talk about what has been going on for the last 10 plus months is sick. It's just sick. And it's because you guys don't want to see what is right in front of your face. And obviously you never wanted to see, because this has been going on for 10 plus months. I thought we all were in agreement that we saw the videos, we saw the pictures, we saw, everything that was going on. And we were affected by that, and we want to change. But apparently, the minute that, election season comes, it's all over. It's all over. It doesn't matter anymore. No one cares. And so it just makes me so enraged, and I just... do what you want. I really don't care at this point. I truly, positively do not care anymore. I just really don't have the capacity to care. But what I do care about is livelihood. I do care about liberation. And I do care about the rightful people being able to rightfully live on their land without colonizers taking over. It's just despicable and sick. But shout out to Ilhad Omar, who was out there with the protesters. Shout out to Conscious Lee, who was out there with the protesters and made his stance very clear that if a person from PAL was not up on that main stage, that he was just not even going to be participating in the DNC's BS. And I love it. I love every single person who's there doing the good work and standing with those protesters and everybody who's there, because this is just sick, and it's totally a tactic of this country. But because it just, we think about ourselves, no one cares. No one cares. Just gonna, let this happen, let more people die, and one day we're gonna wake up and really, really wish we had done something. And